All right, gentlemen, let's start with a question that might make you feel a little uncomfortable, but one that is, quite frankly, essential. Have you ever found yourself thinking about a woman, not just for a few minutes, but obsessively, constantly, even when you're supposed to be doing something else? Now imagine, for a second, that she's doing the same thing about you. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? You're not just in her thoughts, but you're the center of them, the focal point of her mind. You might be wondering, is that even possible? Can I really make her think about me like that? Well, the answer is yes. But it's not as simple as just saying the right things or wearing the perfect cologne. It's about mastering the art of attraction and psychology, understanding her deepest desires, triggering her curiosity, and making her feel that sense of emotional pull that keeps you on her mind. Before you jump to conclusions or think this is about manipulation or tricks, let me assure you, it's not about playing games. It's about developing a genuine connection where she's left wanting more of you, not just physically, but emotionally and intellectually. It's about becoming the kind of man who stands out, who leaves an impression that lingers long after the conversation is over or the date has ended. In this video, we'll break down the steps, the mindset, and the tactics that can get any woman to think of you constantly. It's about balancing confidence, mystery, respect, and authenticity in a way that makes you irreplaceable in her world. Stick with me, and you'll learn how to keep her thinking about you, not as a passing thought, but as a lasting, persistent presence in her life. Ready? Let's dive in. Section 1. Create a mystery, like Jason Bourne, but better. Let's kick things off with something a bit unconventional: mystery. No, I'm not talking about playing the bad boy card or pretending to be someone you're not. I'm talking about something deeper. Think about it. Have you ever watched a movie where the protagonist is mysterious, elusive, and constantly keeps you guessing? Take the Bourne identity, for instance. Jason Bourne, the protagonist, is not just your average action hero. He's a man with a past he can't remember, secrets that unravel slowly, and a presence that demands attention without him ever fully revealing himself. Now imagine you're in a woman's life, but you've got that same allure. You're not offering her all of yourself up front. You give just enough to spark interest, but there's always more to you that she doesn't know. And that's the secret sauce that keeps her coming back. It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about building a real sense of curiosity. When she's left with questions about you, the intrigue begins. This, my friends, is how you make her think of you constantly. In the world of modern dating, we're often quick to share everything about ourselves. Social media makes it easy. A post here, a story there, a check-in, showing where you are and who you're with. But the more you reveal about yourself, the less mysterious you become. And when you lose that air of mystery, the attraction starts to fade. Women, like men, are wired to chase what they can't immediately understand. They don't want a puzzle that's solved right away. They want something that keeps them questioning, wondering, and ultimately thinking about what's beneath the surface. But how does this look in practice? Start small. Stop oversharing. Keep some details about your life and your past tucked away for later. And don't feel pressured to fill every silence with a conversation. If you're having a date or a chat and there's a natural pause, let it breathe. This gives her the space to think about you and wonder what you're really thinking. When you don't give away every piece of information right away, you leave room for her to project thoughts and ideas about who you are, which can make you seem more interesting and complex. Now imagine this in a real-life setting. Let's say you're talking with her, and you drop something unexpected into the conversation, something intriguing, but don't fully explain it. Maybe you mention a book you've been reading, but you don't give away too much about it. You tell her about a trip you took, but leave out the details about what happened when you were there. Maybe you've got a talent or a hobby you've never revealed, and you keep it that way for a while. This leaves her constantly wondering, who is this guy? What's his story? Just like Bourne, the mystery doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just needs to be there, subtly pulling her in. It's the kind of curiosity that keeps her mentally engaged without her even realizing it. And, as we all know, when a woman is mentally engaged with you, she's far more likely to keep you on her mind long after the conversation has ended. In summary, to make a woman think of you constantly, stop revealing everything about yourself at once. Build a sense of mystery, spark curiosity, and leave her wanting to know more about who you truly are. This is how you set the foundation for constant thoughts of you in her head. Section 2. Be observant, like a good police officer. Now, let's talk about something simple but incredibly powerful: being observant. Think about a police officer on duty. They don't just rush into situations without paying attention to the details. They're constantly observing, noticing things that others might miss. A small twitch in someone's body language, a subtle shift in tone, or a slight change in someone's behavior. It's not about being overbearing or creepy, but rather understanding the power of attention to detail. In relationships, the same principle applies. If you can make her feel like you're really paying attention to who she is, to her words, actions, and even her body language, you'll automatically start standing out from the crowd. You see, women, just like anyone else, want to feel seen, heard, and understood. When you make the effort to observe the little things that matter to her, you're not only showing interest, but you're also triggering something important in her mind: connection. Imagine this. During a conversation, she mentions that she likes a particular type of coffee. A good police officer might not immediately act on it, but he'd store that information for later. Similarly, you should take note of these small details. A couple of days later, surprise her with that coffee she mentioned. It shows that you remembered, that you were paying attention, and that you care about her preferences. It's these small gestures that go a long way in making her feel special, and more importantly, keeping you on her mind. Think about it from her perspective. She'll start to realize, wait, he actually listens to me, remembers what I like, and pays attention to the small things that make me who I am. That's a powerful feeling for anyone to experience. And when someone feels that deeply understood, they can't help but think about the person who's able to make them feel that way. Being observant isn't about being overly intense or scanning for clues like a detective. It's simply about being present, noticing what she says and does, and using that information to build a stronger bond. The more you pay attention, the more she'll think about you, because you're not just another guy. You're the one who truly gets her. So in short, don't just hear her, listen. Pay attention to the small details that others might overlook. This will make you stand out, and without her even realizing it, keep you constantly in her thoughts. Section 3. Be confident, but not the look at me type. All right, gentlemen, let's get into something that's often easier said than done: confidence. But here's the twist. We're not talking about the kind of confidence where you strut around like you're the king of the world and everyone needs to notice you. No, we're talking about the chill, quiet confidence that just radiates without trying too hard. You know, the kind where you're confident enough to wear your old, slightly worn out sneakers and still look like you've got your life together. It's that kind of confidence that catches her attention. Let's think about this like a stand-up comedian. Picture this. A comedian walks on stage, and instead of launching into their material immediately, they just stand there for a moment, soaking in the silence. The crowd is waiting, and without saying a word, the comedian makes them laugh just by owning the moment. They're not frantically trying to impress anyone. They're simply comfortable with themselves. That's what confidence does. It doesn't shout for attention, but it draws people in, almost like it's magnetic. Now, you might be wondering, how does this relate to making a woman think about me constantly? Well, when you walk into a room with that natural, unshakable confidence, you create a presence that's hard to ignore. You're not the guy trying to make everyone laugh at his jokes or bragging about how many people you know. Instead, you're the guy who's at ease with himself, who knows his worth, and doesn't need external validation to feel good. And trust me, that's the kind of energy that will make her think about you. Think about it like this. If you're constantly trying to impress her with flashy moves, it's like trying too hard to be the loudest person at a party. Eventually, it becomes exhausting. But when you're just you, not overthinking, not pushing, it feels refreshing. It's like the guy who doesn't need to announce that he's the life of the party. He's the one everyone notices without even trying. Now, let me throw in a little humor here. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop and you walk in. You're not looking for attention, but you're just naturally confident. You order your drink, sit down, and suddenly, the barista hands you your order with a smile and says, "Here's your coffee, sir." No, you didn't ask for special treatment, but you've got that vibe that just makes people respect you. You didn't need to announce, "I'm the coolest guy in this room," because your confidence did all the talking. That's the key. Confidence is magnetic, but the trick is that it has to be effortless, not forced. The more at ease you are with who you are, the more likely she is to think about you. It's that unspoken energy that leaves a lasting impression. So, be confident, but don't overdo it. Let your natural presence shine through, and you'll keep her wondering about you long after you've left the scene. Confidence isn't about being loud, it's about being comfortable in your own skin. And when you're comfortable, she'll be comfortable thinking about you. Section 4. Show vulnerability. It's okay to not be perfect. Now, let's talk about something that's often a little uncomfortable for many guys. Vulnerability. Yeah, I know, it's a big word and it's often associated with weakness. But let me flip that idea on its head for a second. Vulnerability isn't about airing your deepest, darkest secrets to every woman you meet. It's not about turning into an emotional wreck. It's about showing her the side of you that's human, that's real. The side of you that isn't always perfect, that doesn't have it all figured out, and doesn't pretend to. Here's the thing. We live in a world that often tells men to man up and hide their emotions. There's this expectation to always be strong, confident, and unshakable. But the truth is, that doesn't make you relatable. It doesn't make you real. What makes you human is showing that you have fears, insecurities, and past struggles. When you can open up just enough to show those imperfections, it's like unlocking a door to a deeper connection. That's when you become unforgettable. Think about the moments in your life when you've truly connected with someone, whether it was a close friend, a family member, or even a woman you were dating. More often than not, it wasn't because you showed off your achievements or pretended to have it all under control. It was when you shared something real, something that made you a little vulnerable. Maybe it was the time you struggled with something in your life, the time you overcame a challenge, or the time you admitted that you were scared of something. Now imagine sharing that with her. Instead of just being the guy who tells funny stories or brags about how many goals you've accomplished, you let her see that you have a heart, that you've experienced pain, and that sometimes you're still figuring things out. This doesn't mean being over-the-top emotional or unloading your life story the second you meet her. But it does mean letting her see a side of you that's honest and real. Let's take an example here. Maybe you've been through a difficult breakup, or you've had some personal struggles in your life that shaped who you are today. Instead of pretending that everything is perfect, you open up just a little bit. Not in a way that makes you seem desperate for sympathy, but in a way that shows you've faced adversity and grown from it. It's that raw honesty that can create an emotional bond, something deeper than just surface-level attraction. I know, showing vulnerability might sound scary. The thought of letting someone see your flaws or fears can make your stomach churn. But here's the truth. She's not looking for perfection. No one is. What draws people in, what keeps them coming back, is authenticity. When you can share a piece of your heart, you create an emotional connection that makes you more than just another guy in her life. You become someone she can feel, someone she can relate to on a deeper level. And guess what? That emotional connection stays with her. When you're real, it leaves a lasting impression. You're not just a face in the crowd anymore. You're the guy who opened up, the guy who wasn't afraid to show who he truly is. And trust me, that's the kind of thing that will make her think of you over and over, long after you've walked away. Section 5. Make her feel valued. The power of respect and appreciation. Let's talk about appreciation and respect, which are the core of any lasting connection. This is something that transcends borders and cultures. Whether you're in the heart of Africa, across the Atlantic in South America, or in the bustling streets of Europe or Asia. What's fascinating is that in so many parts of the world, love and attraction aren't just built on looks or temporary emotions. They're rooted in how much respect and value you place on the other person. In Africa, for instance, relationships are often deeply woven into the fabric of respect. It's about valuing the other person's heart, their worth, and their essence. Whether it's a traditional setting in Nigeria or a modern city in South Africa, respect is a currency that goes far beyond just good intentions. It's shown in the way you listen, the way you engage, and the way you make the other person feel like they matter, not just in the moment, but always. Similarly, in places like Asia, respect is often seen as a foundational pillar in relationships. It's the little things, the words you use, the care you give, that speak volumes about how much you truly value her. And let's not forget South America, where admiration and respect play a huge role in forming emotional bonds. It's not about grand gestures of affection all the time. Sometimes it's simply about taking the time to listen to her, to make her feel seen and heard. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. When was the last time you genuinely made her feel respected, valued, and appreciated for who she truly is? I'm not talking about just complimenting her looks, though, hey, that helps, but truly valuing the way she thinks, her dreams, her individuality. You see, when a woman feels respected, she feels safe, she feels understood, and that feeling, it's incredibly powerful. It's something that'll stick with her. Let me ask you something. Think back to a moment when you felt truly valued in your own life. Maybe it was a family member, a close friend, or someone you were dating. How did it make you feel? Maybe you felt like you were seen in a way that others hadn't seen you before. Maybe they took the time to truly understand you, your needs and your desires. That's the feeling you need to give her. Drop your experiences in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a relationship where respect and appreciation were at the forefront? How did it change your perception of the person? And how did it affect your connection? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. When you start showing her that you genuinely value her, not just for her looks or what she can offer, but for who she is, she won't be able to stop thinking about you. Appreciating her is one of the strongest ways to make her feel emotionally attached. So, remember this. Value isn't just about what you give. It's about making her feel like she matters. And trust me, that's a feeling that will linger in her mind long after you've parted ways. Section 6. Keep things fun. Don't be so serious. All the time now, let's talk about something that's both natural and often overlooked in building attraction: keeping things fun. It's so easy to get caught up in the serious side of things, especially when you're trying to make a meaningful connection. We all want to appear intelligent, insightful, and deep, and that's great. But here's the truth. If you're too serious all the time, you can actually start to create a sense of emotional pressure. Think about it. In any relationship, whether it's romantic or just a friendship, things flow more smoothly when there's a lightness to the connection. When you can laugh together, joke around, and keep the mood relaxed, the bond becomes more natural. It's like walking into a room where the atmosphere feels light, comfortable, and easy. You don't have to think about every word you say. You can be yourself without the fear of messing things up. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you should be cracking jokes all the time or acting like a clown just to win her over. But laughter and a sense of humor are natural human connections that create a space where she can feel comfortable and safe. The key here is to not take yourself or the situation too seriously all the time. Life is full of ups and downs, but if you can make her smile, you'll leave a lasting impression. Here's a quick example. Let's say you're on a date or just spending time together. Instead of constantly trying to impress her with your intellectual side or your serious thoughts, throw in a little playful teasing. Not mean-spirited, just light-hearted. Maybe you poke fun at your own clumsiness, or laugh at something silly that happened during your day. When she laughs with you, it breaks down any barriers and shows that you can enjoy life without it being too heavy. This creates a space for her to let down her guard and be more open with you, and when she's relaxed, she's going to think of you more often. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel at ease, And humor is one of the easiest ways to do that. Whether it's cracking a funny comment about something going wrong in the day, or just making her smile when she's feeling a little down, fun creates an emotional connection that feels real, without the stress. So, what can you do to keep things fun? Here's the simplest answer. Be playful, not perfect. Share a funny story, be spontaneous, and let her see that you can laugh at yourself. Keep it light, and let her see that you know how to enjoy the moment. This will make her feel comfortable, and before you know it, she'll be thinking about you in those quiet moments, remembering how easy and fun it was to be around you. In short, keeping things fun is one of the most natural ways to build an emotional connection without overthinking. A little laughter goes a long way in making her feel connected, and that connection will stay with her long after the moment is over. Section 7. Be memorable. Create a moment she'll never forget. Alright, here's the deal. If you want to make a woman think of you constantly, you've got to create memorable moments. And no, I'm not talking about buying her an extravagant gift or planning an over-the-top date. Sometimes it's the smaller, funny, and slightly awkward moments that end up leaving the strongest impression. Let me tell you a little hypothetical story to illustrate what I mean. So, imagine this. I'm out on a casual date, just a normal evening, nothing too special. We're walking down the street after dinner, talking about random stuff, when I spot a street performer playing the guitar. I've had a couple of drinks, feeling a little bold, and maybe a little too confident, and I suddenly get this brilliant idea. Without even thinking, I decide that it would be the perfect moment to show off my non-existent singing skills. I'm not talking about a karaoke night performance either. I'm talking full-on, I'm the next American Idol type of energy. I grab the nearest mic, aka the one from the performer, and before I know it, I'm belting out some random classic rock tune in front of a small crowd, completely off-key. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a singer. I'm definitely not a rock star. In fact, my vocal cords probably deserve their own apology after that night. But there I am, owning it like I'm on stage at Madison Square Garden. Meanwhile, the date? Yeah, she's standing there, wide-eyed, trying to hold back laughter while the small crowd is slowly backing away. At the end of my impromptu performance, I look over to her, and she's just standing there, laughing so hard she's almost in tears. Now, did I impress her with my singing? Definitely not. But did I create a memorable, laugh-out-loud moment that she would never forget? Absolutely. Fast forward a few days later, and guess what's the first thing she mentions when we're talking again? Remember when you tried to sing like you were in a rock band? That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And let's be real. It wasn't the singing that made her think of me. It was the experience. It was the fact that I wasn't afraid to be goofy, to be real, and to embrace a little bit of embarrassment. The point is, being memorable isn't about being perfect. It's about creating moments that are authentic, funny, and a bit out of the ordinary. It's these kinds of moments that stand out, that make someone think about you long after the night is over. So, gentlemen, next time you're out with her, don't stress about being flawless. Do something unexpected. Be a little goofy. Whether it's a silly moment like my hypothetical rock star debut or something as simple as telling a funny story or doing something spontaneous, be memorable. And hey, it could end up being your singing performance that she remembers when she thinks of you, whether it's for better or worse. Now, just to be clear, I'm totally joking about that performance, or maybe I'm not. But you get the idea. Create a moment that's so you, she'll never forget it. In the end, these principles are about building a real connection, not playing games. If you want a woman to think of you constantly, it's not about pretending to be someone you're not, but about being your best, most authentic self. Show her respect, value her individuality, and be emotionally available. Create moments that are memorable. Make her feel seen and heard, and keep things fun. Apply these principles with sincerity, and you'll create a connection that goes beyond superficial attraction. It's about giving her a reason to think of you, not just for the moment, but for the lasting impression you've made. When you focus on building something real, you'll find that the woman you're interested in will naturally gravitate towards you, wanting more. So, be genuine, be patient, and let these principles guide you toward meaningful relationships.